Hey, it's Jessica Ann here, and today I'm with Sean Murphy, and we're going to be talking about meal prep and how to approach it. He's going to give you some great tips to make your life easier. So when it comes to your overall health and weight loss especially, meal prep is going to be key, and so is your nutrition, right? Goes hand in hand. So let's talk to Sean. So tell us about yourself and what it is that you do.
So my name is Sean Murphy. I'm the chef and owner of Your Farm Gate, another hospitality company. And what I do with Your Farm Gate is the whole stream is actually bringing more local food, healthier food to people of mass production. So what a farm gate is a farm gate is anything that you sell off your farm. So if you own a farm and you have a stand there, that's a farm gate. So the idea of the mentality was that we rent as much farmland as we can to grow as much as we can, having then more nutrient dense ingredients and having more access. So by growing what we can, bringing more in from local people and cooking seasonally, people are going to get a chance to have better food. So that goes in all of our tiers, from doing weddings and events to obviously what we're here to talk about, which is the meal prep and prepared foods.
Awesome. Thank you. So what inspired you to get into all of this?
I was 14 years old and I wanted to be an engineer, and I actually felt that was too boring. I was working for a restaurant and I was staying afterwards and I was getting beer and I was getting treated like family, and I was like, okay, and it was just really cool of an aspect. So all of a sudden I started to really love the industry, not just food. So it became not just a passion, but almost an addiction to it. And then I learned through the Italian ways of how things were handmade. And then I moved to fine dining, and I got to learn the chances of, techniques of kind of fine tuning what you do, and learning how things weren't always, heavies with butter and creams and sauces, because you started to work for these high-end Italian chefs that were Sicilian. So it was olive oils and garlic instead of butter and cheese and cream.
Yep.
So kind of going through all of this, and then being a cyclist and playing rugby for so many years, we're the worst in this industry for eating, but you get an understanding of what it is, and we start talking to people. In 2006, I'm gluten-free, and then celiac came in, and then vegan came in, and vegetarian came in. So I was kind of forced myself in 2006 to understand where the market was going as a business owner, but also as pure interest of food and being kind of a nerd in a sense, to study as much as I possibly could to how can I help these people that come into my restaurant and eat not feel alienated and just go, well, I can only have this. Well, here's chicken and broccoli. Or if you're a vegetarian, it was like the classic broccoli and penne.
Right.
As you can tell, broccoli was like the one ingredient that we always had in the restaurant, and then that's what you would get.
Right.
So it was always, how can I find something in a way people just eat better food and learn and learn and learn.
Okay, and to make it taste better too.
Yeah, it's got to taste good, and that's the biggest frustration I have with prepared stuff, and we'll get into that.
Okay, sure. All right, so why do you believe that meal prep is so important?
I think meal prep is so important for people even like myself. When you get incredibly busy, to understand what you're going to do throughout the day. It's very easy for things to come up, and then all of a sudden you don't have the time. But also it's far more cost effective as well, that if you sit there with a plan the day before and you go shopping and you utilize, say, the same ingredient 3 different ways, it's going to cut a lot of the cost out as well. The problem with meal prep, I find, is people, they go with a set recipe and plan, and they'll try to put together 10 recipes in one, and then there's food waste and money loss, and then they just don't keep with it. So between time of schedule and then actually how they approach planning, that can either propel somebody forward or can deter them from doing it.
Right, exactly. So when you have your meals prepared, like, you feel like that's going to make your life easier, right?
Exactly.
It's like you won't reach for random junk food.
Yeah, and we find that with clients that are dealing with us now, is like, oh, thank God, I had a really busy day at work, I don't have to go home and cook. What happens half the time when people are going out and getting, pizza or getting that sub or getting that fast food is, I don't have the time to cook, I don't feel like it, I had a really bad day, give me a burger, give me a bottle of wine, and that's it. So by at least meal prepping, if you had a really bad day, it's a very, very good fallback plan, let alone obviously being able to calculate your health throughout it.
Yeah, 100%. That's awesome. So can you share with us your best tips on how to approach meal prep?
So the best tips are kind of the way that you'd or I would approach an apprentice. So the idea of kind of working with an apprentice is you have your ingredient. So say that it's sweet potato, and then you have all of your ways of cooking. So you can boil something, you can steam something, you can roast, and kind of have your general. And what I should do is actually just create something for you, and anybody you share this video with can go and download that and utilize as more of a visual. But if I have a sweet potato, how am I going to cook that so many different ways? If I roast it, it's going to be one way. If I boil it, it's going to be another.
Right.
If I have a piece of broccoli, I'm going to take it that way. So the best way is, now that I know all these different ways I can use a certain ingredient, now I can start with my meal.
Okay.
So now I know when I pull all my ingredients out and I have everything set in front of me, I have my proteins on one side, I have my veg on another, and I have my starch on another side.
Right.
So I know if I have, say, like something that's higher in the glycemic level, say like a beet, a carrot, and sweet potato, I'm not going to try to put them all in the same meal, especially with a fattier cut of meat.
Okay.
Right? So you're going to try to balance all of your meals out that way. And once everything's laid out in front of you and you have your plan, then you can go, okay, cook everything in your multitude of ways. All your ingredients are cooked. You can then put together all of your meals all at the same time and utilize little bits of scrap and stuff like that. So say you quickly did up some pumpkin seeds. You can add pumpkin seeds to this lean meal here to add some more fat content. You got black beans here, so you don't need that biggest cut of chicken because then that gives you too much protein.
Okay.
This one's low. So it's just kind of getting that main ingredient first, knowing how you're going to do it,
Yeah. and
and then getting that plan to how are you going to use, say, 5 ingredients in 5 different ways.
Okay.
And that's what's going to, again, save you on your money and your waste.
For sure. And so what would you start cooking first?
Anything that you start cooking first is walk in, set up your boards, your knives, anything you're going to boil. Always put a pot of water on. You're always going to end up boiling something, be it blanching beans or anything. Get your water on, get your board set, lay everything out. If you're going to roast a potato or roast whole squash, that's going to actually take longer than it will take you to roast a chicken.
Okay.
And you want to do it at a lower temperature anyway. So what I do for a lot of times, not only nutrition but flavor-wise, if I'm going to do potatoes, for people say that you're a cyclist and you have to get a good carb load before the day of, you put your potatoes in with a touch of water, a little bit of oil and salt, cover it. You're not leaching any of that flavor and all that starch and stuff out into the water. It's going in. Plus, when you roast dry, everything shrivels and shrinks.
Okay.
So you can get, less food, right? Which you want to feel full, but eating the less calorie intake, right?
Right.
Because really all you're doing is just getting water. It'll be the same calories.
Yeah.
So you might as well keep most of that water within the actual food itself when targeting starches. So starch will take about 40 minutes. A roast will typically take about 25, 30, depending on what you're doing, obviously. And then your veg, you're quick, so you can blanch off your edamame or your beans, chill them off in ice water, and then last second you can either keep them that way or you can saute or you can add in final. Like, don't start prepping your lettuce on first thing when you don't have starch and proteins.
Okay. Makes sense. Awesome. Thank you. So where can people find you?
So anybody that wants to look for me, they can look up Your Farm Gate. So it's yourfarmgate.ca. There's information, obviously, of every form of catering. So even if they wanted, say, healthy catering for a whole family, we could do that. But there is a meal plan there where we talk about meal planning more, kind of helps and tips, and we're always available. All my contact information there. I've never had anybody turned away that they can't reach out and ask a question. So as a culinary standpoint, we're always there to help out people that have their nutrition plan, have it in front of them, and then they just don't know how to cook.
Okay.
So we're always there. So yourfarmgate.ca is the best case, and then we're always, through email or phone, we'll always answer and help out.
Wonderful. Thank you. So check out yourfarmgate.ca. I'll put all the information down below in the description. Thank you.
You're welcome. Cheers.